Dear friends, good evening. Today I would like to do one interesting video, which is the second house in astrology. So, what is second house? So, second house is very important house that every astrologer looks at in an individual's chart, because the second house is the very next house from the ascendant. So, it shows wealth, the brought up, the character, his vices, uh, speech, food intake, and his material positions. So all these things are seen from second house. So also second house plays a prominent role in deciding a lifespan of an individual. So there are two Markasthanas in astrology. Okay, one is second house and the seventh house. So second house is stronger than seventh house in terms of Maraka nature. So the strength of second house is very carefully assessed, looking at the Rasi chart, Navamsha, Astakavarga, and also, if required, other divisional charts also. Okay, uh, because second house is a Maraka house. So in my experience, I have seen hundreds of charts. Okay, the strength of second house should be moderate in my sense. So it should not be too, it should not gain too much strength, or it should not be weak at the same time, because if the strength of second house is stronger than the strength of ascendant, so what happens? The marka nature increases in the individual chart. So the second house actually capable of posing life threat to an individual when that particular dasha is activated. So many of the astrologers, when they look at general well-being of an individual in any chart, they always consider second house, because second house deals with lifespan also. So if the second lord, okay, he is not well positioned, then the person may face death like life risk situations. So suppose second lord suppose he is exalted. Okay, suppose say it is Aries ascendant. For Aries ascendant, the second lord is Venus. Okay, the Venus is exalted. So exalted, where he is positioned. So Venus exalts in Pisces. So he is in 12th house. Okay, so some way it is good, because Venus actually does well in 12th house. Okay, and suppose say the same Venus, suppose he wants for Virgo ascendant. Okay, so for Virgo ascendant, Venus becomes second lord. Okay, so suppose if he is in seventh house, what happens? So the Maraka nature of Venus gets amplified. But here one thing you need to see is, for Virgo ascendant, Venus owns ninth house also. So he can't be completely malefic, even though he owns second house. Why second house is considered as a Dusthana house? Because it is sixth house to ninth house, it is considered as a Dusthana house. That is one thing. So what are the karakas of second house? So there are many karakas. Okay, wealth, material positions, speech, food intake, character, the second marriage, third marriage, all these things can be seen from second house. And also second house is family is seen from second house. The immediate family members, they are seen from second house. Okay, and for material positions, whether they are profitable or not profitable, we have to consider second house, because second house is 11th house from fourth house. So fourth house is the vehicles, lands, buildings, houses that a person acquires. So unless the second house is supporting them, they can't be fruitful. Okay, and also second house, it represents self acquired properties, self acquired money. Okay, so there are many ways a person, an individual makes money. Okay, some people make easy money. Okay, suppose the second lord is connected with eighth house, so he gets easy money all of a sudden. Somebody gifts him some money, stock, shares, valuable items, gems. So that is one thing we have to see. So how the where the second lord is placed also shows us the type of earning, okay, that the particular individual have, and also how he makes money, how he spends money is also from can be is seen from second house. Suppose there is a benefic planet in second house, Jupiter. So Jupiter is a natural dhanakaraka. So Jupiter does very well in second house. So what happens when a Jupiter is in the second house? Because second house is also house of speech, so the person talks so softly, okay, sweetly, conservatively, okay. He doesn't talk too much. At the same time, he doesn't sit like dumb. If Mercury is in second house, then the person is very intelligent. He talks very sweet, and also he's very conscious of what he is talking, because Mercury is buddhikaraka. When he is in house of speech, then that makes a person a light speaker. Also, the problems with the speech can be also seen from the second house. So suppose the second lord, or the second house is afflicted with malefic planets, then it is likely that the person develops stammering. Okay, so stammering means inability to express one's feelings, that is nothing but stammering. Also, malefic planets in second house makes a person spendthrift, okay, immoral. Also, his diet habits are not good. That affects his health also. His financial management is not good if the malefic planets are there in the second house. So, whenever you see second house, always benefic planets like Mercury, Jupiter, Moon, Venus, these planets, they do extremely well in second house. If you see, Venus is basically, he's a natural dhanakaraka. From Mesha, Venus owns second house, second and seventh house. So Venus is a natural karaka for second house. Okay, so he's basically wealth creator. Also Jupiter also dhanakaraka. So these two planets, when they are connected with second house, for sure the person makes lot of money in his life. And also, for a person to become a good astrologer, he should have blessing of second house. If the second house is good, then he becomes a good astrologer. So the first and foremost prerequisite for an astrologer is nice speech. So that speech is governed by second house. So Jupiter is a divinely planet. So when a divinely planet, divine intellect is there in the second house, definitely that person talks about higher divine knowledge, like astrology. So it is likely that person becomes an astrologer. So not only just Jupiter in second house makes one astrologer. So there are many other combinations that we need to consider. The Mercury should have connection, okay, and some other planets should also support it. And Rahu aspect on second house, that gives Vaksuddhi to the person. I have seen many tantric and like people who are like tantrics kind of people. So when they talk, like whatever they say, that is bound to happen. So that Vaksuddhi basically is actually seen from the second house. The planets aspecting the second house, the planets sitting in the second house. So suppose Rahu is in eighth house, then obviously Ketu is also in second house. So that makes a person a good astrologer. So he can predict things very well. Okay, and also when you see the Maraka nature in the individual horoscope, the second house plays a prominent role. So the strength of second house should not dominate the strength of ascendant. So if you see the Ashtakavarga points, so the total Ashtakavarga points of second house, should not exceed the total Ashtaka points of ascendant, because that weakens the chart, because the Maraka is stronger than the ascendant. So ascendant is the one who secures life, who gives lifespan. If the second house lord, having more points than ascendant, means maybe the person is capable of making money, rich. He can be rich. He may have a lot of assets, but what if he doesn't have good lifespan? So the strength of second house plays a key role in individual success. So that's why I always say the second house should always carry moderate strength. It should not be too strong or it should not be too weak. Suppose the second house lord is in third house. So the third house is house of communication, house of initiation. So the person makes money with his skills, communication skills, with his initiatives. And if the second house lord is in, suppose, fourth house, the person makes money through real estate, or buying or selling of properties, or disposing a land, or he may get some inherited money from his mother. So if the second house lord is in fifth house, what happens? So fifth house basically is one of the important Kona houses, Panchama Kona it is called. So when second house lord is associated or is in fifth house, then it produces some Raja Yogas. That is, it is a very good wealth creator yoga. So if the second house lord is in sixth house, what happens? The person lends money. That's his profession usually. If the second house lord in seventh house, he is more of borrower, not a lender. If the second house lord is in eighth house, the person for sure gains through inheritance, one thing, and also he makes all of sudden money, quick money, and also he gets gift deeds, and also he makes money through a profession that is involved in some research, because eighth house stands for research. And another good thing about second house lord being in eighth house is, it is considered to be bad with respect to making money, because the person has to struggle a lot to make money if the second house lord is in eighth house. But still, if he is positioned in a benefic star, even though he is in eighth house, there is still a chance. Or if he is associated with a benefic, even there is a benefic in eighth house, still he makes money out of that eighth house. If the second house lord is in ninth house, this person is a fortunate. He can make through money, through legacy, through partnership with his father, or higher learning, spirituality, or making a travel. So these are the things to consider. Also, always look at the dignity of second house, second lord, in the Navamsha also, how he is positioned. Even though he is in Dusthana, in Rashi Chakra, suppose the second house lord is in 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, but he is in a very good position in Navamsa, so still the chart promises very good financial position for the individual. So this is my brief analysis about second house. Friends, if you like the channel, please subscribe it, and also please click the like button. And if you are looking for more information on second house, please visit my website trendingastro.com. Thank you.